Welcome back to another Grouse 4x4 episode. The time has finally come where I've done some bulk damage to the 80 series. It's now gonna undergo a lot of modifications. It's come to the point where I've realized I've just got to do it, and I got the approval from the wife, so that's the best bit. I've thought about it a few times, and then Gemma's actually finally said probably good time to do it. You'll see my little list in a minute of everything I've got to rebuild. So there's going to be a pretty big build series coming out on this car. The whole reason it sort of happened was Wagon's social wheel. I broke a front diff, I bent a front housing, I snapped 2 steering boxes. She went through hell, all the seals are leaking, there's heaps of things leaking, so I need a full rebuild. So 80 rebuild, here we go. We got a GU steering box and brace kit, GU front diff into 80 housing, brace front diff, long flipped radius arms, straighten front diff, fix rear locker because it stopped engaging, fix all leaking seals, find bad earth, chop into single cab ute. When we were in Wadigans, when I found a diff, I actually got an entire housing. It's already straight, it's already out and ready to do work to it. Matt Kinsella makes a kit where you can hybrid fit a patrol front center and run your 80 series axles. Because I've put chromollies into this already, I've put quite a bit of money in it. Because I have that GQ down the back with the front locker already in it, it's going to be easier for me to make a hybrid diff.
Yeah, hello fella.
Hello, sir.
What you do at the pub?
Pretty much pulling the CV out, re-putting it back together without the CV so I can take the center out. I'm only going to show you on one side obviously, and my unique setup I have here. So I've got this little, it's just a big nut. And I've got a little Allen key here. This holds my CV out. These are a splined hub face. They spline into my hub, which is machined to accept the splines. And then we're just going to pull all this apart, put it all back together, put the wheel back on because I need it to still be a roller. I just need the axles out so I can get the diff center out. And then I'll clean all the axles up and stuff, and everything's going to be Mickey Mouse when it goes back together. Even a lot of these, they're just stripped. But because of my unique scenario I got here, they're more just of a locator. As long as some of them just have a little bit of pressure on it, all the drive goes through the spline and it's not loaded on these nuts. So they're just sort of just to help hold it in place. I'll give you a little closer look. You can see on the inside there, you see all those splines. So on that outer ring, they spline into this face in here. My weakest point in my car is my front diff center. I shock loaded the front and it literally exploded my center. The RCVs were handled perfectly, these handled perfectly. Maybe in future what I might do is put hubs back on, manual locking hubs, and let them be the weak point so I don't break anything else, theoretically, other than a hub, which is a matter of bolts, straight back on. On the inside in here, there's a lock nut, like a star. Like that. And then it's a 54mm hub socket. You can buy them from Super Cheap Repco, they've got them. Take them off and you're good to go. We take that one out. Then we get our flathead screwdriver. Pop the locking ring off. Your little locking ring, and undo your second one. Now if we take the 2 brake caliper bolts out, this whole assembly will come off. Don't drop your front bearing. The bearing will just fall out. Top one you got to crack with a spanner. Bottom one you can use an impact. I like to hold a hand here and pull off so you don't lose that front bearing. These are all 14mm. Then you knock the spindle off. Once you knock the spindle off, you can pull your CV out. Pro tip, not that I'm a pro, I've changed a few CVs. Make sure your steering wheel is straight. If you can't get it back into the center of your diff, get someone just to turn the steering wheel a little bit while you're trying to push in, and make sure the flat spot on your CV is up and down, and if someone moves the steering wheel just that little bit, it will just slip straight in. I'm going to pre-prepare myself, put a heap of rags underneath because I can already tell you that this is full of diff oil. If you give it a little bit of a smack, it comes straight out, and as you can see, it's full of diff oil. So my long side CV is now out, and there ain't much molly grease left in there.
Dad.
Mimi.
Hello. Hey, Mum. Look at it. My mini.
So we got the CV out. I just put one of the locking nuts back on. I didn't bother putting all the hub face and stuff back on because I'm going to have to pull it all apart again anyway. This is just so I can put my wheel on and still have it as a rolling diff. Right, so we now got the opposite side out too, and as you can see, I'm under the car. So my next step now is take this front tail shaft off and take the front centre out, take those gears off. I need to sell those gears to Kane because he done his front diff in Wattigans too, and then I've got to sell the locker and I'll go grab that patrol diff out. So front tail shaft bolts are 14mm and diff housings are 13s. So that right there is my airlocked centre in the patrol. And the reason I know it's a 4-1, it's a HG 4-1. So that's a 4-1 centre. So we're here now, we're going to pull this CV out of this GQ. Same process as the 80 series, but this is slightly different compared to what an 80 series is. I literally pulled the other one out and that was it. First ever patrol CV I've pulled out. They're pretty straightforward. First things first, obviously, you got to pull the wheel off to get to the rest of it. I believe it's an 8mm Allen key for this hub. Going to do the same thing as I did with the 80 series. Once I take this off, I'm not going to put it back on because I'm going to keep the CVs out until I get a new center to put back in this. I'll tell you if it's an 8mm or not. And boom, it's an 8mm. I'm just putting a screwdriver into like my nuts. That didn't sound good. I'm just putting a screwdriver into my lug nuts here just to hold it to stop the hub from spinning. And then I'm just cracking it with a hammer. Now, very straightforward this is. It was a pretty similar process to an 80 series, just different bolt sizes is pretty much it. So clip off, boom. That's a lot harder than you think without circlip pliers. And then we've got, it's a little Phillips head screw. It's like a locking nut to hold the bearing in place. And we just got to undo that. This locking plate here is better than an 80 series one. So an 80 series one has 4 holes on the rear locking plate. This has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You need to turn this next bit tighter to get your locking plate in. I don't have the patrol tool, I have a hammer and a flathead screwdriver. And it works. 22mm on the back of those, on the back of the brake caliper. Then it's a whole heap of 14mm bolts, pull it off, pull the CV out, put it back together. So dust cover comes off. Now we can pull this CV out. Oh my God, that is so stiff. Oh, I can't even turn that. Good news is, CV's out. Put it back together. I'm sure you can see me down here. Hello. So I'm just undoing the bottom diff housing bolts. I already took the air line off the top of the diff here. Took the tail shaft off just here. And we're now gonna go undo these on the bottom, get back up on top, undo the top ones. And then because I've got no motor in the engine bay, obviously, I'm gonna go pull it up, hopefully. I've got a jack here too to hopefully break the seal, as long as the seal's not horrible. All right, Jimmy bar seems to be working pretty well. So you can see the size difference here. This one on the left here is an 80 series front and the one on the right is a patrol. So we're up to, we've got the locker out of the patrol. Pretty sure it's a new style locker too. So we should be good to just get spider gears and change them over. And when I get them, I'll show you what they look like. Now I'm just gonna strip this diff. So I'm gonna take this tie rod off. I'm just gonna take the brake lines off, brake caliper. I'll leave the knuckles on for now and then start grinding radius arm mounts off, cleaning it up, prepping it ready to weld new bracketry to it. So all I'm doing here at the moment is I'm just trying to take these studs out of the diff, so when I'm grinding here I'm not fouling on them. I'm not going to need them anymore anyway. I only need 2 of them as locators when I get this ring back on here. We got the radius arm mounts off. They need to be polished up. I'm going to go along and cut this face off now. So yeah, if the faceplate needs to be bigger, Matt said to use a GQ housing and do the same thing, cut the faceplate off and weld that on. That is the option. There's a few options. You could actually probably make a plate. You just got to get your fill plug for your pinion level to be right. The reason he said to use a GQ housing faceplate is for the simple fact that the fill hole is already set to suit that diff. I know it's going to change a little bit in this one, but it's a lot closer than what a Toyota one will be. So we'll go and chop this off. This is probably going to be a bit of a lengthy process, I reckon. I'll be able to look at you through the diff hole in a minute. And just like that, the front face is off. So pretty much now I need to go to Bunnings, get some flappy disc stuff, some wire wheels, all that sort of stuff, and polish the hell out of this. But we are nearly a bare housing. No radius arm mounts, no diff mounts. Oil seats are the ones that are left, and a panhard. I am not opting to raise my panhard mount with this diff. I did on the other one, and that was because I used the factory arms. The factory arms foul on the panhard, so you have to actually physically lift it. The reason I'm not, Matt said don't even bother because I'm going to use his arms this time. They can sell a customs arms, so they're a solid radius arm and I don't potentially bend a factory one because I've bent a factory one before. And he said he fixes the bump steer when you do the GU steering box brace kit. So when you put that in, it fixes the bump steer because you want to have your steering arm and your panhard running exactly on the same plane. So if you do that, your car will drive better on the road and steer better. To clean this bad boy up, we're going for a trip to Bunnings to get all of our little stripper bits. These are just like paint and rust removal bits, different angled wire brushes really. And then we got a heap of flappy discs so we can start polishing everything up and making it look pretty. So flappy disc, I got 40 grit and 120 grit, so reasonably aggressive. And then they're your little wire wheels. And then that wire wheel as well, just different angles to get into different places and spots. So I got it all polished back now where the old radius arm mounts were. It's all come up pretty neat, which is good. I've just got out my new wire wheel. You could zoom in if you want. My little wire wheel thing here, look at that right there. Anyway, we're gonna go and strip back a bit of this grimy old paint stuff and just getting it sort of prepared, ready to weld everything on. As you can see, we got that front cut out now and all polished up nicely. The old radius arm mounts are gone, all nice and polished. So we're gonna call it a day there. I've been grinding and polishing pretty much all day, just making that diff sort of come back to life. I still got heaps of polishing to do on it to make it look better again. This is a big lengthy build process, but it's all gonna be worth it in the end. Another reason I'm gonna explain why I'm actually doing a patrol center in this. They're obviously going to be stronger than an 80 series one. I could just put a whole patrol diff under it, but then I really lose diff clearance. I'm not going to lose diff clearance with this. I'm still going to have an 80 series diff, but maintain the strength is one of the pros that I see. Everyone knows that patrols have giant pumpkins and that really can let them down in certain circumstances. Obviously, if you know how to drive, it wouldn't, but clearance is key with a lot of situations. So I'm trying to keep as much clearance as I can, and I thought it'd be a pretty cool project. So here we are having a crack. Well, we're here again in the back of my car, taking more bits out, getting it prepared whilst we're waiting for all of our parts sort of to turn up. I ordered my rear wall chop. That's 10 to 12 days. And then I hopefully get up to Matt's workshop this week to collect a few parts off him to continue on with my front diff. But until then, we're starting to strip seats out. We're sort of clearing everything out of here, ready for me just to grind a line straight through it and make a nice wall on the back. So rear seats here, 4 bolts, or 4 in the front here, they're in 2 pieces, and then flip it up and there's 2 more in the back. 14 mil, take them out. If I seem slow and old, it's because I've had surgery and I'm sore. Been about a week, so I'm just undoing it, and then Gemma's gonna have to lift everything because I'm not allowed to lift. With the rear wall shop too, I asked them, they did a single cab, dual cab obviously, and an extra cab. I asked the measurements between single cab and the extra cab. Extra cab, in my opinion, was a little bit too long. It made it look a little bit funny, but he explained the reason why it looked funny, and I'll put the camera down and I'll point a few things why it had to look funny and why he actually did them the way he did them. So what actually he said to me was, because of this hump in the floor here is the reason the extra cab is so long. He goes, it's a bit longer than we'd like it. The single cab, I'm pretty sure he said was like 50 mil forward of the hump, so it's like here somewhere. And then the extra cab, he said, was like 50 mil back from the top of the hump. And that's why it's so much different, because you got that hump in the floor there. We're taking all of the seats out.
May as well.
Yeah, we might as well. And then we could probably get the carpet out. I might even sound deaden everything and go the full 9 yards of this build, like full on build. You may see Millie's head in here in a minute, but that's okay.
Get out of
Millie! Get over there. Ready for you to lift it out.
That's it.
Look at that. Empty seat. I may keep that center console because once I carpet it, it'll be alright. It's held the test of time. It's not even bolted there, which is the funny thing. It just sits there. Look at that. Secretly, that was all me.
Put all our bolts back in.
Yes, we put them back in the holes.
Don't lose them.
Their carpet doesn't go through them, so we should be able to pull the carpet up and over them. Done. All the stuff in here is actually still from Wadigans. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been in the naughty corner, literally. I have not touched the inside of it because I have not been happy. Done. We're pulling my carpet out now. Took the air compressor out. Hopefully, I've never pulled it out. I know it goes up under these trims a little bit, but I'm hoping I could be able to just pull it out. See, that just comes off.
Ew.
I'm not going to worry about pulling the carpet out in the back because it's just getting cut off here somewhere and just going to go
Bin.
rubbish. I have also leaked a few things on this floor. Brake fluid, diff oil, gear oil. I've done quite a few things, so that's why it's dirty, and that's probably why it's all sticking to the floor there. Yum.
Cleanest build 80 in Australia.
It is. Look how clean it is. Oh, money. I wonder if I'm going to find anything cool under it.
Doubt it.
Giving it a pretty good tidy up in here now. I got as much of the fluffy floor stuff off as I could. I was just using a wire brush, like a welding brush, and then I got a wire wheel on my drill and just sort of went around. I'm not going to put the sound deadening in until I chop the wall because I don't want to go too far with it. I'd rather just buy what I have to buy. When I chop this rear bit here, I'll stand here with a gurney and sort of shoot back that way and gurney as much as I can here. I won't bother up here, I'll just hand wash up here. Righto, we're going to put an end to that episode right there, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little build series. I'm trying to give you the in-depth version on what's actually happening and how much effort is going into this build to build this thing back to its glory, really. Next episode, you will catch us doing all of the front diff stuff, a lot of welding and a lot of fabricating sort of sides of things, getting it ready to be straightened. Once it's straightened, be rolling back up under here. If you guys are enjoying the length of this video, I didn't want to go too long with the build video because I do want to sort of explain everything that has to happen and the in-depth version of why it's happening. If you don't enjoy that, let me know. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this and I will catch you on the next one.